Hey, what's going on? How's everybody doing? Welcome to the Narrative Mindset Podcast. So, probably wondering what's been new. I'm yet again moving to another job. I left for good at my job that I was at. I was only there for a month, and I just couldn't take it no more, and left for good there today. I went and did my urine test, and I did a background check that came back good. Urine test came back good, so I'm starting there Thursday. And what that job is, it'll be another rail car repair, but only this one will be outside. And it'll be using stick welding, not flux core welding. Which, I mean, they both have their downfalls, but I don't know. I just don't like the one that I left, or I guess you would call it the previous job, because if you look at a rail car, where the coupler is, right? Everything is being done up under the car in the space that coupler fits in. So it's a very confined space where you have to figure out how to get stuff done, and it's and that's not the reason I'm leaving. The reason I'm leaving is because I got there and it's a circus. I mean, the guys can't come to work. They're one guy, he's been late the whole time I've been there. And I've only been there, a little over a month, and they just come in when they get ready. They're bitching and complaining. They're constantly talking to me about, getting my well test so I can do what they're doing. And it's just a real shit show. I had one guy have a little temper tantrum with me, and to me he's a fucking idiot. He really is. He's I don't know. I don't get into it. I don't really care what his problem is. I'm still, me personally, I still try to be an adult about the whole thing. So the thing is, when they started, when I'm anywhere and I start to feel like it's starting to affect my peace, I get gone, period. When I was in Kalamazoo and, unfortunately, me and my neighbor wasn't getting along, I got gone. I just don't have time for it. And that's just me. I'm not going to let somebody drag me into some situation where I say, you know what, I'm going to go ahead and do this. Then now I got a record. Now the person is happy because I'm on the level that they're on. I'm on the same mindset that they're on. So now, at least in my mind, I think they feel happier because now they've knocked me down to their level. And I was talking to co-pilot earlier. I said, you know what? I said, I've taken 3 background checks, 3 drug tests, passed them all with flying colors, no problem. And that's the thing. I wouldn't have been able to pass those had I have lost my temper with somebody and, picked up a bat or, got a firearm or did something stupid, out of emotion. I wouldn't have been able to do that because that would have been on my record. Now, this is barring me from getting a job. And which I want to add, me and my daughter's mother had got into it a while ago, and I lost it. Didn't put my hands on her. I just lost my temper and broke the screen and that kind of thing. And I was really mad at myself for some years because I had to deal with a misdemeanor being on my record. So when I went to fill out an application, I had to put that down. Do you have a misdemeanor? Yeah, and I got to put all this stuff down and the case number and all this different stuff. And it was, for me, it was embarrassing because I went from having a clean record to having this misdemeanor on my record. And that was something I didn't like. That was something I really didn't like. So now it must have fell off or something because when they do background checks, it doesn't show up. So that's a good thing. But I left the previous job. I left that. I think it was about lunch, I believe. And I'm taking tomorrow off, and then I'm gonna start the new job Thursday and see what it has to offer. And if you've been listening to my profile, you may think that I job hop a lot, and I do, because it's just I don't know. I'm not going to deal with drama. That's just me. Some people say, hey, you're not going to be able to get away from drama. Well, if I win the lottery, then I'll, be on my own island, by myself. So, if there's any drama there, if they dare to come on the island that I own, then there will be drama. But yeah, that's, and pretty much all of those situations are emotion. And I'm always talking about emotion. Always talking about it. I'm always talking about doing the work on yourself. And I'm not saying that I'm a therapist, but I am saying that if you put your mind to it, you can get your emotions under control by compartmentalizing them and looking at things that people say. Because I started off with the old saying, change the things that you can, recognize the things that you can't change, understand the difference, and move on. And that was where I started. And that was where I started to realize that it was about me. It wasn't about anybody else. I can change me, but I can't change other people. I'm not going to even try to, because it's a waste of time. It's a waste of time, and it's a waste of energy, But enough about that. I left that, and we're moving on to the next chapter. I got home, and I forgot I had some hot dogs in the freezer. So I went to the grocery store, grabbed some onions, and made some hot dogs, and I think I had some carrots too, and ate that. I actually got some gluten-free cookies too. Probably shouldn't have did that, but they are pretty tasty. But I gotta watch my sugar because I am a diabetic, so I can't do too much. But besides that, I think I'm not sure. Tomorrow I'll probably go get some work clothes, because that old job, that was another thing. You're working under a rail car, you're climbing around, you're crawling around on the floor. I mean, you get super filthy. When I say filthy, I mean filthy. You're literally on your knees or on your back or, up under a rail car. And that really wasn't a big deal, don't get me wrong. But that plus the circus was just too much. But I wanted to get on here and make an episode. As most of you well know, I make episodes, and I'm trying all kinds of stuff, and you just have to keep trying until something works. And, for a podcast is therapy also. So if you use it for that and not for, because you think you're going to be a millionaire overnight, then it's better because it helps you get stuff off your head, because you don't want all of that stuff in your head that you're thinking about all the time, because eventually somebody's going to tap into it and you're going to, expel all that energy, the way you're feeling on that person. And you definitely don't want to do that. And, also nobody, I don't know, it's very seldom that a person really wants to hear what you have to say and really understands where you're coming from. So that's, probably, I don't know, I guess that's the world we live in. Hey, thanks for tuning in to the Narrative Mindset Podcast. Have a good one. My eyes are trying to close by themselves. I'm so tired.